There arrives a time in every woman's existence when the surrounding world ultimately falls silent. The sound diminishes. The duties evolve. For the first time in quite a while, she's able to perceive something different, her personal reality. This video is intended for individuals aged 60 and above. However, this is not merely a standard enumeration of items to steer clear of. It delves into more profound aspects. This is a heartfelt dialogue between two knowledgeable individuals exploring the subtle ways we may drift away from our true selves and the gentle methods to reclaim our essence. Aging is not merely a process of decline. It pertains to the process of revealing or developing. There exist subtle, often unnoticed behaviors that can gradually diminish your happiness without your awareness. However, upon observation, one may opt for an alternative course of action. One has the option to embrace tranquility. One has the option to embrace autonomy. Ultimately, the decision is yours to make. In the upcoming moments, we will delve into 8 behaviors that numerous women adopt after reaching the age of 60, which subtly undermine their happiness and self-perception. We will discuss the process of releasing what is no longer beneficial and embracing this significant phase of existence with full commitment. Please make yourself comfortable, inhale deeply, and let us commence our journey. This time is well-earned and justified. This truth is rightfully yours. You are entitled to a life that resonates with your true self once more. First, cease the constant concern regarding your children's every action. A unique and profound affection exists that is exclusively understood by a mother. The experience commences the instant she cradles her newborn in her arms, and in some way it continues to expand endlessly. Even as her children mature, establishing their own families and careers, that love continues to resonate powerfully within her heart. However, it is important to acknowledge the reality of the situation. Persistent anxiety does not serve as a safeguard for them. It solely causes you pain. Numerous women in their 60s and 70s persist in shouldering their children's responsibilities as though they were their own. They find themselves restless at night, contemplating the challenges faced by their adult daughter's tumultuous marriage. They discreetly settle their son's outstanding bills. Concerns arise regarding the futures of their grandchildren, encompassing aspects such as their well-being, education, and overall happiness. Although all of this originates from a profoundly caring intention, it can gradually deplete a woman of her tranquility, her resilience, and her capacity to relish her own existence. Allow me to share an encounter I had with Lorraine, a 71-year-old grandmother I met at a community gathering. Lorraine was the proud mother of 3 adult children, each leading their own bustling lives and nurturing their respective families. One day, her youngest son reached out to her, his voice trembling with emotion. He had experienced another job loss. Without hesitation, she proposed to take care of his rent. The singular choice evolved into an extended period of financial assistance, frequent communications, emotional strain, and even disputes with her other offspring, who believed she was fostering dependency. When she finally withdrew, she expressed, "I recognized that I was attempting to mend his existence to avoid confronting my own. I feared what my days would be like if I wasn't perpetually attending to someone else's needs." That resonated with me because how many women experience that same apprehension? Let me present the facts. Your children should not be viewed as mere projects. They are individuals, mature individuals, competent individuals. They are permitted to face challenges. They are permitted to stumble and to rise again. When you cease the effort to bear their burdens, you provide them with the opportunity to develop resilience while also allowing yourself the necessary time to recuperate. This does not imply that your affection for them ceases. This signifies the development of confidence in their choices, a belief in the values instilled during their upbringing, an acknowledgement of their individual journey, and an acceptance of your own personal journey as well. If you find yourself preoccupied with their decisions, difficulties, or disorder, I encourage you to take a moment to breathe and recognize that you have the right to release what does not belong to you. It is essential to move away from parenting driven by fear and embrace a form of love that respects your own tranquility. That is not self-serving. That is of utmost importance. Two, do not overlook your health as merely a consequence of aging. Many women in their 60s and 70s often neglect to prioritize their bodies. They dismiss discomfort, neglect medical consultations, refrain from physical activity, and convince themselves that's simply a part of aging. However, that is not the case. That is the consequence of neglecting the signals your body provides. Your body is functioning as it should. It is attempting to capture your focus, and you, my esteemed individual, are worthy of experiencing good health. Not merely free from illness, but thriving, invigorated, at ease, and secure in your own being. Allow me to share the story of Margaret, a retired educator I encountered at a wellness retreat. At the age of 69, she decided to seek medical advice regarding a persistent discomfort in her hip. It was revealed to be a degenerative joint condition that could have been addressed much earlier. Instead, it now necessitated a surgical intervention. I believed my stiffness was merely a consequence of aging, she remarked, her tone laced with remorse. However, I was disregarding the murmurs until they escalated into shouts. This is a common experience for many women. We dedicate our younger years to nurturing others, managing household tasks, and making sacrifices. When we eventually find the opportunity to focus on our own well-being, we often feel lost. However, it is possible to learn how to prioritize ourselves. It begins with simple, compassionate decisions. Increase your water intake. Take a daily walk. Ensure you obtain a complete night of restorative sleep. Engage in gentle stretching upon waking. Schedule and attend your medical appointments. Discover physical activities that bring you joy, such as dancing in the kitchen, gardening, or practicing Tai Chi in the park. Equally important is nurturing your emotional well-being. Release any grudges. Consider journaling. Reach out to someone if you experience feelings of loneliness. Engage with content that brings you joy and laughter. Embrace humor more frequently. The reality is this: your well-being encompasses more than just the physical aspect. It involves the spiritual and emotional dimensions as well. It reflects the harmonious interplay of your mind, heart, and body in nurturing the life you continue to lead. It is always the right time to begin prioritizing your self-care. Every small change contributes to your overall well-being. Age is not a barrier. You are not defined by your past struggles. Your body has supported you through numerous challenges. Now it's time to nurture it with care. Additionally, it's important to stop feeling guilty for prioritizing your own needs. This is a common challenge faced by many women, particularly as they navigate the journey of self-acceptance. After years of prioritizing others, agreeing to every demand, being present for every emergency, and accommodating everyone else's requirements, the notion of declining feels inappropriate, even self-centered. However, prioritizing your own needs is not self-serving. It is transformative. You were not created to be the support system for everyone. You were not placed in this world to maintain harmony at the expense of your own well-being. Your worth is not determined by the extent of your generosity, endurance, or self-denial. It is perfectly acceptable to express, "I do not wish to participate." It is entirely reasonable to state, "I require some solitude." You have the right to pause, to envision, or to simply be. You are entitled to occupy your own existence. I once encountered a woman named Cheryl. At 73 years of age, she had dedicated her life to acquiescing to every request. Indeed, to additional babysitting, indeed to community boards, indeed to church committees, indeed to dinner parties. She found it unenjoyable. One day, a medical professional informed her of her risk for burnout. At 73, she expressed, "I never knew I was allowed to say no. Now each time I do, I experience both guilt and liberation." The sense of freedom is genuine, and it becomes easier with practice. Therefore, if you find yourself feeling the need to apologize for taking a break, reconsider. If you catch yourself excessively justifying your choices, take a moment to reflect. If you fear that someone may disapprove of you for establishing a boundary, contemplate this. What kind of affection requires me to forsake my own well-being? You have earned your place. You have put in the effort. Now is your moment. A time for gentleness, for insight, for tranquility. You are not obligated to justify your self-care to anyone. There is no need to diminish yourself for the comfort of others. This is your existence, and you are entitled to experience it with respect, happiness, and indeed autonomy. Furthermore, do not hold on to unreciprocated familial connections. The concept of family carries significant weight. It evokes images of Sunday gatherings, birthday greetings, shared memories, and a feeling of inclusion. As we mature, our understanding of family evolves beyond mere biological connections to encompass deeper truths. Some relatives offer genuine love and support, while others seem to reach out only in times of need. Acknowledging this reality can be difficult, yet it also brings a sense of liberation. Many women in their 60s and beyond often find themselves holding on to unhealthy or unbalanced relationships out of a sense of obligation. They persist in reaching out to the daughter who never responds. They continue to provide financial support to the nephew who never expresses gratitude. They organize events for individuals who seldom attend, all out of a sense of obligation. But allow me to offer a gentle reminder. Obligation is not synonymous with genuine affection. True affection, authentic affection, embodies respect. It embodies a sense of security. It is reciprocal. You have the right to cease pursuing individuals who deplete your energy regardless of familial ties. You can care for someone while establishing limits. You are entitled to maintain emotional space without feeling remorse. Allow me to recount the experience of Diane. Diane is a 68-year-old widow who has dedicated the past 10 years to attempting to remain connected with her younger sister, despite the relationship becoming detrimental. Her sister made negative remarks about her weight, overlooked her health issues, and reached out only when financial assistance was required. One day, Diane reflected, "I came to understand that I wasn't nurturing the relationship. I was maintaining it artificially." She ceased communication. She stopped providing justifications. She opted for tranquility, and her tranquility became more pronounced than her remorse. This is not about severing ties with others out of rage. It is essential to prioritize emotional safety, even in environments that previously felt secure. Familial connections do not grant anyone the right to your time, resources, tranquility, or affection. If you find yourself clinging to a family bond that causes more pain than solace, consider this. If this individual were not part of my family, would I permit them such extensive access to my life? You are worthy of relationships that are mutually beneficial. You are worthy of love that elevates you. You are entitled to tranquility within your own space, even if it requires reevaluating who shares your company. It is essential to prioritize your well-being over social commitments. Along the journey, many individuals are conditioned to believe that constant busyness equates to worth. We often agree to every invitation, every responsibility, every communication, every task, in every gathering, even when we feel drained. However, being busy does not equate to genuine connection. Similarly, remaining socially active does not guarantee emotional nourishment. It is a subtle pitfall. This desire to demonstrate our relevance, usefulness, and welcome status can be misleading. In our pursuit of connection through relentless activity, we frequently neglect the profound relationship with ourselves. Allow me to share the story of Janice. At 65, she became involved in nearly every local group in her community: a book club, a hiking group, a knitting circle, a church committee. Initially, it brought her joy. She was in the company of others, her calendar was packed, and there was always an event to attend. However, after a few months, she confided, "I was surrounded by people but still felt incredibly lonely. I was engaging in all the appropriate actions, yet I wasn't nourishing my inner self." This realization is significant as it reveals that not every social interaction holds value. Some discussions resonate like warm embraces, while others merely create background noise. It is not necessary to accept every invitation. You need not validate your existence through constant engagement. You have the option to cultivate a more intimate circle, embrace a more deliberate pace of life, and foster a profound sense of happiness, which is more than sufficient. Consider those individuals who leave you feeling rejuvenated rather than exhausted after your interactions. These are the connections worth nurturing. Additionally, it is essential to cultivate an appreciation for your own solitude. Silence holds significance. It is a revered space. Within that stillness, you can discern your thoughts, recognize your needs, and uncover your authentic self. A tranquil existence does not equate to isolation. It is a life crafted with purpose. If you find yourself feeling burdened by your schedule, reflect on whether your actions stem from joy or obligation. Your time is invaluable. Therefore, invest it in relationships and environments that rejuvenate your spirit. Additionally, do not overlook the importance of financial independence. Let us discuss the topic of money. The topic at hand can be quite challenging, particularly for those who have been conditioned to prioritize politeness, selflessness, or reliance on others. However, the importance of financial independence cannot be overstated. As individuals reach the age of 60, many find themselves relying on fixed incomes. Some may have experienced the loss of a spouse, others may have gone through a divorce, and some may have never taken an active role in managing household finances. Regardless of your circumstances, it is essential to cultivate a sense of safety, security, and confidence regarding your financial future. Achieving financial tranquility does not hinge on possessing vast wealth. Rather, it revolves around the assurance that you can manage your circumstances when unexpected challenges arise, and they inevitably will. Whether it's a medical issue, a necessary home repair, or an urgent journey to visit loved ones, these situations occur. Lacking savings and a clear financial plan can lead to feelings of anxiety, fear, and even shame. To ensure your financial well-being, begin with the basics. Monitor your expenditures for a month to gain insight into your spending habits. And determine what is essential and eliminate any unnecessary expenses. Establish a modest emergency fund. Even setting aside 100 can be beneficial. Consider consulting a financial expert, even if just for a single session. It's always a good time to expand your knowledge. Inquire and strategize for a more secure future. Maintain a sense of inquiry rather than feeling self-conscious. Allow me to share the story of Teresa. At 72 years old, she had never taken the time to review her retirement accounts, as her late husband had always managed their finances. Following his passing, she found herself feeling inundated. In her uncertainty, she continued to provide financial support to her adult son, all the while unsure of what resources remained for her own future. With guidance from a financial coach at her local senior center, Teresa discovered how to establish a budget, invest wisely, and set considerate boundaries with her son. "I finally feel like I own my life again," she shared with me. And that is the essence. Financial independence is not merely about control. It is about claiming ownership. Ownership of your time, your energy, your dignity. Indeed, there are occasions when it is necessary to decline requests from others, whether it be for financial assistance, shared communication plans, or acting as a financial resource for family. This is not a reflection of indifference, but rather a prioritization of your own well-being. You have invested significantly over time, and it is now essential to ensure that you reserve sufficient resources for yourself. 7. Refrain from wielding anger as a tool within your family dynamics. An unarticulated shift often occurs for many women after they reach 60. It begins subtly, akin to a distant storm. A minor annoyance here, a biting remark there, a heavy sigh, a door shut with force, a silence that lingers just a tad too long. After dedicating a lifetime to nurturing, offering love, providing support and investing time, energy, and even aspects of one's identity, it is only natural for remnants to remain. When the act of giving goes unacknowledged or reciprocated, it can lead to a profound sense of sorrow. This unexpressed sorrow frequently manifests as anger. It may reveal itself through impatience with your adult children, sharp remarks directed at your partner, subtle jabs during meals, or instances where you suddenly feel alienated in your own home, the very space you have created. However, let us consider the reality of the situation. Your anger serves not as the issue, but as a communicator. It conveys important messages. Feelings of being overlooked, undervalued, and exhausted from maintaining composure are valid. That suffering is genuine. You are not exaggerating. You are not unkind. You are simply human. Your heart, like any other, has its limits and can only contain so much before it overflows. However, this is where insight is crucial. You need not allow that suffering to impact those dear to you. Rage does not equate to strength. True strength lies in the ability to pause, take a breath, and make alternative choices even in challenging times. I once encountered a woman named Evelyn, a 76-year-old grandmother who had consistently been the cornerstone of her family. Following the passing of her husband, she assumed the role of the primary decision maker, the individual everyone turned to in times of trouble, the planner of family gatherings, the one with all the answers. Yet beneath the surface, Evelyn felt drained and isolated. As her children appeared to take her for granted, she started to react with frustration, raising her voice during conversations, questioning their decisions, and withdrawing emotionally. She expressed sentiments she wished she could take back, remarks that created a chasm between them. One day her granddaughter softly remarked, "Grandma, I miss how you used to truly listen to me." That pierced through Evelyn's defenses. She commenced her therapeutic journey. She commenced the practice of journaling. And above all, she began to show a gentler disposition, not solely directed at others, but also aimed at herself. She came to understand that beneath her anger lay sorrow, and beneath her sorrow was affection. When she addressed her children once more, it was not with reproach, but with sincerity. She expressed, "I have experienced a sense of invisibility, yet I wish to release my anger. My desire is for us to reconnect." And they did. When a woman opts for openness instead of dominance, she paves the way for restoration. In moments of discord with those dear to you, when your words may cut and your tone has turned harsh, remember to refrain from self-condemnation. Instead, cultivate a sense of inquiry. Consider reflecting on your current needs. Do you seek warmth, acknowledgement, or assistance? Once identified, approach the request with gentleness. Your feelings are valid and should be acknowledged. It is essential to recognize your worthiness of compassion while also acknowledging your ability to extend it to others proactively. Allow your frustration to lead you to understanding rather than chaos. You continue to be the emotional cornerstone of your family. Let that center be grounded not in fear, but in grace, not in dominance, but in love. 8. Remember to stay true to your essence beyond the titles you hold. There is a question I hope every woman over 60 would contemplate thoughtfully, as if in reflection. What is my identity now that my presence is no longer required in the same manner? This is a delicate inquiry, one that evokes feelings many of us have long suppressed as we have been in demand for years in various roles, be it as mothers, wives, daughters, workers, caretakers, hosts, helpers, or peacemakers. When those roles change or diminish as children leave home, partners pass away, and silence envelops the house, many women experience a sense of disorientation as if they have been dismissed from their own sense of self. However, it is essential to acknowledge a reality that many women tend to overlook. Prior to embracing the roles of motherhood and partnership, you existed as your own individual self. And that woman, the one who moved gracefully across the kitchen floor, the one who lingered in her thoughts, the one who expressed herself through song or captured her musings in the edges of her notebooks, she remains within. She remains here. She is simply anticipating recognition. I once encountered a woman named Leona. At the age of 78, she had recently transitioned to a more compact living space following the loss of her husband. Her adult offspring resided several hours distant, Initially, she expressed, "I am uncertain about my direction in life." However, gradually, she started to investigate her own desires rather than conforming to external expectations. She acquired a collection of acrylic paints. She became a member of a community library group. She took a stroll each morning in the park. At the age of 79, she experienced sushi for the very first time. Most significantly, she embarked on the journey of writing a memoir not intended for public consumption, but rather for her own reflection and understanding. She expressed, "For the first time, I am not defined by my roles as a wife or a mother. I'm simply Leona, and I'm beginning to appreciate her." This is your opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to delve into the experiences that evoke a sense of vitality, not merely productivity or utility, but a true feeling of being alive. Explore an innovative approach, or take the opportunity to rediscover something from your past that you once cherished. Visit the museum independently. Consider treating yourself to an outing that you truly enjoy. Consider revisiting the book you previously deemed too frivolous. Express your true thoughts candidly. Choose attire that resonates with your sense of beauty rather than conforming to societal expectations. Aging is not synonymous with vanishing. The process of aging signifies a transformation. You are not a mere consideration that comes later. You have not yet reached the peak of your potential. You are certainly not overlooked. Embrace your potential and flourish boldly, for you are capable of remarkable growth. And if anyone, even that inner dialogue, suggests that the moment has passed, convey this information to them. I am in the initial stages of my journey, the profound insight of reconnecting with one's true self. If you have engaged with this discourse to this point, then perhaps, just perhaps, you have sensed a subtle awakening within yourself. Not a boisterous tone, not an order, merely a soft murmur, a gentle call that urges return. Return to your essence, not the version of you who consistently agreed, not the individual who chose silence to maintain harmony, not the individual who prioritized the needs of others for so long that she lost sight of her own aspirations. Return to the essence of yourself that existed prior to the titles, prior to the setbacks, prior to the external expectations that shaped your identity. Return to the woman you were destined to be. This phase of your journey is merely a stepping stone, not a conclusion. This marks the inception of a sacred journey. The reality is that beyond the age of 60, life does not diminish. It intensifies. Your pace may be more measured, yet your impact is undeniably profound. Your words may be few, yet they hold significant impact. Your role may have evolved, but your importance to the world and to yourself has never been greater. You are not diminishing. You are concentrating. You are maintaining your composure. You are experiencing a significant transformation. Within that opening lies profound understanding, elegance, poise, in the gentle, unwavering illumination of a woman who has transcended the need for validation. She is embracing life with vitality, independence, and strength. To all the women out there, regardless of whether you are 61 or 84, consider this your reminder. You are not falling behind. You have arrived just in time. You are never truly alone. You continue to develop, remain open to happiness, and deserve all the positive experiences life has to offer. Allow this to be the moment when you cease seeking approval and begin crafting your own narrative with compassion, bravery, and a deep-seated affection that originates from within. I appreciate your time and engagement with me today. If this message resonated with you, please share it with others, to a sibling, a companion, a caregiver, a child. At times, the most significant gift we can provide to one another is the affirmation of our worth, the acknowledgement of our presence, and the understanding that our narrative continues to unfold. Until we meet again, embrace a measured pace and cherish profound connections.